All right. It's time for Cowboys postmortem. Jerry's pissed.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's so weird. So I've covered a couple Cowboys games. It's bizarre that the owner talks after games. Like the fact that he just gives a press conference after these games and he just does it in the tunnel. Yep. It is a strange experience if you've ever seen it. So he comes out, obviously, I'm sure still pretty emotional after that ending of the playoff game when you think you had real Super Bowl aspirations. Essentially says, when you're this good, when you have this many good players, this can't be the result. What do you think that means?
I think the Grim Reaper might be coming because that's not a really words of faith, I guess is a good way to put it.
It's not a measured comment either. I mean, it's holding nothing back there.
No, it's also saying like, hey, we have freaking players, use them. Like that's basically what he's saying, or we'll find somebody that will use them properly. Because that's not mincing any words. Especially also the other thing that's bizarre with Jerry Jones too. I mean, there's a lot of things, but the like he also does like a drive time show like in the middle of the week where he'll just answer like personnel questions. They'll be like, hey, so banged up. Like,
he's the GM.
He just got an ankle. And it's like, oh my God, can you keep any of it under wraps?
So
this is one of the better things.
Just point blank, I'll lay it out there for you. Do you think the Cowboys would be better off if they moved on from Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, I do. There's enough signs where it's like, if you want to be a legit Super Bowl team, how many of these close games do you think you're going to be in? Like this is just week one of the playoffs. Then you would have to play, say they won this week and they came out won by 1 point. They drove down and scored. Then they have another game next week against a really good opponent. And if they win that one, they have another really good opponent. And then if they win that one, it's the Super Bowl. So it's like, these don't just go away. It's like they get magnified. And if you're going to go on a 4-game win streak, like a lot of these are going to crop up. Like, and it's just, he has a history of it. This is the same guy that Jordy Nelson had to hide a challenge flag from him. And that was like, like 7 years ago. Right? I mean, it's the same guy and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed with it. And so like, that's just, I think he is just going to be an Achilles heel always, unless they have some Barry Switzer level talent level like they had in the mid 90s.
Well, they're close, right? I mean, they're not. Maybe they are one of. They are absolutely. If you were stacking up every roster in the league, they're in the top 3, probably, right?
Oh yeah, they're on the podium.
I mean, they are right there. They are in the conversation for having the best semblance of talent in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
And over the second half of the season, from week 11 on, they were 10th in EPA per play on offense, with arguably the best offensive personnel in football. Okay. Yeah. So let's project this forward a little bit. Let's say you talk yourself, we're 12-5.
Yeah.
Real contender. What if this changes and this changes, we're close. Their defense is not going to be as good as it was this year, next year. It's not going to be. The turnovers are not going to be even close to what they were. I mean, you can see it. You can see the writing on the wall. And that's even without Dan Quinn getting a head coaching job, which it seems like he probably will if he wants one. So if you're turning over defensive coordinators next year, also, I have no idea, can't really speak to this, very curious what the overall locker room feel and culture is like when removing Dan Quinn next year and what role he played in that entire thing this year and what the defense, just attitude, everything else, even beyond the schematics of it, what that'll look like if you just take him out of the equation. So let's just say their defense next year is fine. Like it's a good defense, but not even close to this. And you have the same offense. You're looking at a 10-7 season and another exit. Like if you go with this exact formula again, to me, it's underwhelming. And if you are projecting into the future and just assume the defense is going to take a step back, Mike Parsons, whoever, just think about little things. Randy Gregory's a free agent. J-Ron Kearse is a free agent. His team's $13 million over the cap. It's these little tiny things that eventually start to fall away where you're going to regress a little bit. And then where does that leave you? I also think, I don't know how to necessarily extricate the Kellen Moore side of this from the Mike McCarthy side of this, right? When I watch the Cowboys offense over the last couple months, the word that keeps coming back to me is static. It's just, it feels static. And I don't know where to lay blame for that, but I just don't want to see them continuing to go down this road, because this road with this personnel, I think, leads you again to disappointment?
I think, and this is not, it's not related to McCarthy. I mean, it is related to McCarthy in a way. It feels like that Dak almost needs to be challenged with some of this stuff a little bit. Like, I feel like this offense he's very much in his comfort zone, which is a good thing. You want quarterbacks.
But they've done it on purpose, right? They kept more for a reason.
Same
All the terminology is the same. It's designed to make him feel comfortable.
And you could just see but they have that kind of wall of ideas, that ceiling of ideas. Like, because you watch this stuff. Like, that's what I've said this many of times, is that I like watching this offense, a lot of, especially protection stuff, because it's Linehan, and that was my dad's offense coordinator.
And Dak is very good at it.
Extremely good. And the communication, the stuff, and how he handles it's so cool to watch, because it's the best of the best as far as mental stuff. But you can see that because it's the same concepts, the same 2x2 stuff with stop routes. It's the same, just like getting in, like they just like when they have new ideas, you can tell like it looked really good on the whiteboard, and then also it goes out there, and you're like who's lining up where. Every time they get into third down and a fourth down, like you could tell a unique formation, like a designery formation that they don't run a lot. You can see all the receivers trying to communicate and kind of like figure it out. So like either the players got to take ownership, or something is happening that's not getting across to these players, because it just seems so many times they're just like, where do I want? One guy's on the ball, one guy's off the ball. CD's jogging out to his spot because he had to ask where he was going. Like, it's like when you see that over and over, especially on third downs, because third downs are the plays. Third down and red zone is where the plays change a lot week to week. When you see those guys kind of having to communicate and go, what do I got? That's always like, that's a little scary, because that's usually the teaching that happens during the week, or just the process that happens during the week. Some of it could be on the players, don't get me wrong, but it's like, you don't see that happen a lot with the 49ers, do you?
That's the exact comparison I was going to make. Think of the chasm when you watch these two offenses play. How easy the Niners make it on their players, and especially on their quarterback consistently. Yeah. Kyle Shanahan, it's going to be a mixed bag when it comes to game management stuff every once in a while, right?
Yes.
The fourth down field goal in the first half, fourth down punt, which I think you could argue either way, but I probably would have gone for it in that moment. And then the shift before the quarterback sneak that kind of screws them over. Here's the difference. Kyle Shanahan is going to galaxy brain some stuff at some points when it comes to decision-making and game management stuff. Every other moment of the game, he's giving you an advantage. Every single other moment of the game, as an offensive coach, he is creating advantages for you. Mike McCarthy is going to do the galaxy brain shit without creating any advantages for you for the other 59 minutes of the game.
Yep. It puts you in worse situations. It's like you only have so many resources in the game. He's feels like you're -2 as soon as you line up with him, because he's going to waste the timeout. He's not going to use the timeout correctly. He's just going to punt when you're down 2 scores like that. They add up. You can get away with it when you have a certain amount of talent over a season, but now it's like it catches up to you. You create your own luck, and you create your own bad luck. I'm a big believer in that. That's what it feels like every game with him. It's just like, don't fuck it up, Mike. That's really what it feels like. For 49ers is don't fuck it up, Jimmy G and Brunskill. Like for them, it's like, don't screw it up, Mike McCarthy, please.